Yeah.
Hey, all right, I got a question for you, man. Cobb County Commissioner.
Yes, sir.
What does the county commissioner even do, man?
Yeah,
what are we voting for? Like, what are we voting for? What's this position all about?
That's a really good question. You know, honestly, people, even myself, the first time I was contemplating and discerning whether I'm going to run for county commissioner, first I had to do research. What in the world is a county commissioner? So I think this is a misstep that most education systems have when we talk about the federal government, but a lot of times we overlook the county government. So we look at it basically as an example. You have the executive, legislative, and judiciary branch. Think of the county commissioner role as being executive and legislative. Why? Because as a whole, so technically right now there's 5 county commissioners, one's a chairman, and the other 4 are district commissioners. So you have the south part of Cobb County, District 4. You have east, some of east and west, Cobb, District 2, and other parts. But basically, together, they decide where the county's budget is going to go. They also decide the county's laws. And obviously, the cities have their own city councilman. But as a whole entity, we work together as the district commissioners and decide, hey, what is going to happen and what direction are we going to take our county?
So what got you into wanting to run for office? Like when did you make that decision and why?
Yeah, so to running for office, I think it's a wild question. I think I had my opportunity to see other, I don't want to say politicians, because I think a lot of times people get caught up in the figure of people are politicians. Some people are. Some people are just people who want to represent the community. And along the way, people are going to twist whatever you say. But I think it goes back to serving. Like I said, I did serve in the Georgia National Guard, and I served as a youth minister. And I think if I want to get to the root of it, I always think of this memory I had in 4th grade. I remember Ms. Crawford in Clay Elementary. And probably some of the people watching were in my 4th grade class. But the question was, who wants to be a police officer? And I know I'm not a police officer, and I'm not going to be a police officer. But she asked why. And so as a 4th grader, I was able to say, hey, I truly want justice for everybody. And I think people get caught up in, what justice this, social justice, like people don't just want to hear that, you know? But I think at the root and the value of people, you don't have that, then you're not going to find the best thing or try to find the best solutions for everybody, especially those most neglected.
Yeah,
So,
there you go. I actually, I was reading up a little earlier in anticipation of our talking tonight, Edwin, and I was reading an AJC article. And in the AJC article, it says that you stated, together with the community, I am looking to push forward new ideas about how we can invest in the people of District 4 who are continuously left behind as other parts of Cobb County benefit. I love it, man. But I want to know what's your perspective? What did you mean by that statement, man?
Yeah, so I think it plays a whole role, not just in South Cobb, but I think the biggest neglected area is South Cobb. That is where Pebble District students go, South Cobb District students go, and Osborne and Campbell. Not so much Campbell, but yeah, Campbell is in the district, but more those students. And I think you have to look at areas that have, and I guess let's say gentrification. Gentrification, while there's some people who say, oh, well, that's great that we're having a new, not there, because some people are mostly against apartment communities. If you look at off Riverside Drive, off Six Flags Drive, what it used to be Six Flags Drive, there was those apartments that were basically, they were demolished. And so now really there's been a whole big conversation about what's going to happen with that area. And so my mind is like, yes, they want to have the community's input, but I think sometimes you have to have that mindset to have the community in the front of what's going to happen. Because for instance, there was an example of in Atlanta, South Atlanta, they actually partnered with Habitat for Humanity to create housing. And so that area has 50 acres of land. And the project that was used in the past, or that's actually being constructed, is 30 acres of land. So that gives you 20 more acres to do other things. And I think people are so conflicted with, hey, how are we going to set the community in the front line of what's going to happen and the interest, and without saying, hey, we're gonna bring more homes. And that's not apartment homes, those are homes. People themselves, somebody I was speaking to, she lives in a townhome, and she said, I don't want no more townhomes. And it's kind of like, like you're saying this, you live in a townhome, and people want to have their own home, their own privacy, and that goes a long way, not just from development, but it also goes from the dark streets. If you go to Pebblebrook, Whispering Pines, it's pretty dark street, between KFC and Kmart. And so it's really to see how can we bring these, not just the ideas of development, but the small investments, as in, like for another example, the Cobb County commissioners actually passed 6 new special light districts. But in my mind, it's like, so what are they? New streets or new districts that are going to be basically set aside to get new street lights or whatever it is, People don't know it, but that creates safer neighborhoods.
Absolutely.
Hey, Edwin, let me ask you this, man. Absentee ballots, man. Do you think that, by the way, I went to your page, your Facebook page, man.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that video that you put on there about like how to fill out the absentee ballot and what
easy, right? Easy.
Man, it's easy. And I think, and I'm going to share that video too, man. This is really important. And that leads me to my question. Do you think the absentee ballots, will it help? Who's it going to help more, man? And I hate to get political and I hate to do sides because I just do. But do you think it helps conservatives more or liberals more with this absentee ballot? Or do you think it matters?
I think it helps conservatives more. It's not so much, I don't have the data right now, but from past history, it always helps out more conservatives.
Absolutely,
yeah. And so even right now, Cobb County is one of the leading, if it's not one of the leading, it is the leading county that has the most absentee ballot requests. And so that puts also me in a kind of like, oh, well, how do I get other people to vote from home, And so I hope people can vote from home. There will be the opportunity to also vote in person.
Right.
And that's also going to be up to people to decide if they feel safe.
Right. Absolutely.
But yeah, what do you think? Do you think it helps?
I think our last podcast, Chance said that. Yeah. So if you think about demographics, like historical demographics, like most older, white, wealthier people are going to vote conservative, right? The younger people, more progressive, say they're going to vote liberal. But like Chance said in the last podcast, this new generation, they don't even know like what a stamp is. They don't even know where to buy a stamp to send it in. Because you said
I gotta be honest. Not because I don't know where to buy a stamp, but I wasn't gonna go buy stamps. Like I had a stamp for my mom to send an absentee ballot. I was like, hey mom, you got stamps? Like I'm not gonna go buy a stamp.
I'm pretty sure some of your friends, Edwin, have never seen a book of stamps, man.
Yeah, I have some friends that are asking like, where do I mail it to or email it to? And that's something hard.
You can though. You can scan it in. You can scan it in and email it.
Well, you can't scan it in. But there's some people who have been waiting for like 3 weeks. You haven't emailed it in.
But the commercial for the absentee ballot doesn't tell you that. I literally saw it on TV. That's where I told you, Finizzy, because when we had the conversation, you guys said you guys thought it came with postage already included.
Right, and it
I saw a commercial where they were like, you put a stamp on it. And then when I was looking at the form actually tells you where to email and fax it, but the commercials don't tell you that you can send it in electronically.
I think you're absolutely right, man. I think like especially historically disenfranchised populations and lower income populations, stuff like that, they already have had a very bad history with voting. Mm-hmm. So you add anything else to the equation, oh, by the way, you got to do an absentee ballot and you got to buy a stamp. Like, it's too much, man.
Yep.
It's too much. So I think encouraging people, I think it's too much because people are going to be afraid that they don't know how to do it, right? At the end of the day, that's what it is. It's about like, if you tell me how to do something, I'll do it. But if I don't know how to do it, I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, and it's not free. Find out it's not free.
Right. That's right. That's another thing. Yep.
But I think it's a priority as a community. And if we have to push our election back, well, because honestly, this vote by mail thing, it's going to help out conservatives more.
Absolutely.
In our district, we don't have to worry so much about it just because it's Democratic.
Mostly liberal, yeah.
But at the same time, let's say for me, I wanted younger people to get out there. If I wanted other people who have never voted for the first time, as somebody who's running for the first time, it's not going to benefit me.
Yeah.
But I just got to give it the best I have. So.
Do you think, I was just thinking about this with voting, like the other issue with getting young people to vote is the time it takes to vote. And the fact that when you get to the polls, you have to put your cell phone in. So how many kids how many younger people do you think that in their mind, they're like, I'm going to go vote. They get in line, and then 20 minutes into standing in line, they're just
I don't
like,
think that. If they went out to vote, man, if they went to vote, I think they'll be there to vote. I don't think that would deter anybody.
Okay.
And you only have to put your cell phone up when you're inside, right? So if I'm sitting outside in the line and I have my cell phone, then I'm good. I don't care. I'm still, distracting myself. I don't think that'll be an issue, man. I remember the first time I went to vote at Morehouse, it was, I was just excited to do it, man. I stood in line for like an hour and a half. I was just excited to do it, man.
Because I never had an issue with voting lines until I moved to the south side of the county.
Why is that?
What's that?
Why is that?
There was never a line to vote. So when I lived further north in Marietta, and I would go vote.
Right.
I don't know if it was because of more polling locations or because of the absentee ballot. I've never thought of it at the time. But like you would go in to vote, there would be no line. You just walk in, you show your ID, and you go vote and leave. And it was a 10-minute process. Yeah. But now, like, to vote where I live, I got to go to Bernie Elementary, and every time I've gone to vote, it's at least an hour of sitting in line and waiting. And I've never experienced that.
The south side of the county, honestly, that's a big issue we have. But I think one of the things as well to see is that this year, they actually changed up voting locations.
Okay.
So they did that. They say to like take away from the density of people who are voting in locations. The thing is, the timing is off. You can't do it during election year. That's basically that's voter suppression. No matter what people say.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because
next year, the year after.
Right. Because I didn't know that.
People that are watching this that maybe like have moved away from the Pebblebrook area but are still on the south side of the county, because if they look at it that way, well, I no longer live over by Pebblebrook, I live over by South Cobb now, or I live over by Osborne, or I live over by Campbell. Can I still even vote for Edwin?
Yeah, so you still can. If you are living in the Osborne region, most likely you can vote for me. If you live near the South Cobb region, you can vote for me. Basically, even to McEachern. So everything south of Macklin Road. So I think a lot of people forget about Powder Springs. But Powder Springs is huge as well. And so you went to McEachern and you live south of Macklin Road, you can vote for me.
South of Macklin.
Even parts of the county, the district, are in Lithia Springs. Not too much, but possibly a mile all the way into Lithia. And so but honestly, get out to vote. People just have to get out to vote. You will never know.
Right.
So if you don't vote, it's not gonna.
Historically, how many votes wins the county commissioner spot?
So you have to get the 50% plus one.
Right.
In the past, when Lisa Cuban ran, the first time there was 5 candidates, and that was about 12,000 votes. A little less than 12,000. Okay. So she would have had to get that 6,001. But right now, because there are 7 candidates, you just have to be one of the top 2 contenders to go to the runoff.
You're doing a great job because you're the only candidate I know of. You're it. You're it. I don't know anybody else is running, Edwin.
Yeah. So hey, there's only.
I didn't even know who the incumbent was.
Yeah.
Didn't even know who the incumbent was.
Good research. Good interview research, man.
Hey, man, he's doing a great job.
Yeah. So basically, if I want to get to the runoff, probably everything's changing. Let's be honest. Whatever it was going to be, whether it was 2,500 votes to get to the runoff, that can be completely different just because of everything, just because of absentee ballots.
Yeah.
Just because of, we don't even know if we're going to have that opportunity to vote early as much as it would have been if we weren't in this pandemic.
And right now, What's the election day? What's election day?
So election day is May 18th to June 9th. So June 9th is the last day.
Yep.
If somebody gives you one day, they're gonna lose because you only get people to vote on June 9th, you're not gonna win.
Right.
So it has to be from May 18th to June 9th, and June 9th is the last day. That is a Tuesday, that is election day. But hopefully we will have the opportunity to vote on a Saturday, and that'll be from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. in person. So just be safe. Take a Lysol bottle with you, whatever you need. But we need to get out to vote. So,
Yeah, absolutely. So May 18th to June 9th. Sounds good, man.